Hello, are you out there? It's Mark with 3 Over. We're back to our Stellaris in-depth tutorial. We're trying desperately to cap this game off. Now, we're currently in the mid-game. We're playing a very shortened version of this game, and the end game should start at 2300, and then that should end at 2350. So we're just going to cook along here. One of the main things you want to do in your mid-game, after you've done all your early expansion, you've developed every system you can, is get your colonies organized in a useful way. So that is a matter of having as many, forge worlds, research worlds, unification, mining worlds, all that to keep a good balance going forward. Ultimately, preparing for the end game is really about having a lot of alloys, so forge worlds, so you can build up a fleet, you can sustain and fill the large fleet. That's kind of the key to winning against those end game enemies. It's all going to take fleet power. There's no peaceful or political way to win the game that I'm aware of at that stage. So, naval activity at Euraria. We have received intelligence reports of significant fleet movements within the Free Estwanian Confederacy. They seem to be centered on the Euraria system, suspiciously close to our borders. Oh, what are the Estwanian up to? That's right, the Free Estwanians hate us. Continue monitoring the situation. So let's see if we can spy the Euraria system real quick. Right here. This is the Free Estwanian Void Corps. They're fielding a fleet of 7,300 power. We don't match that. We definitely don't. Not at Troydom. We're coming in at maybe around 6,000. Now, obviously, we have the capability through our policies and edicts to turn on a variety of rare resources, strategic resources. So we could definitely beef up the power of our ship, volatile ammunition, reactive armor, focusing crystals for our energy weapons, and exotic gases for shield boosts. So this would increase the durability and the firepower of our fleet. So we could probably match them at around 7,000-ish. However, that's going to dig into our little piggy bank here of strategic resources. In particular, the rare crystals we just kind of got going later in the game. We only have a surplus of 458 rare crystals right now. So those would get used up in pretty quickly, month by month. They would get sucked up if we were in a war. So we wouldn't want to turn that on until they are breathing down our necks. So we could look at the Troydom system really quickly. There is a starbase there right here. It has essentially no offensive capabilities. It's just sitting at 322 firepower, which is nothing. It's like the equivalent of a couple of corvettes functionally. And if we look down here at Dittram, the Dittram station has a bit more firepower. You can see we actually put a couple of gun batteries on there with our shipyard, with an anchorage. Normally we would house our fleet there at Dittram. In particular, Dittram is our choke point. You can see that there are 2 hyperlanes into Dittram, which controls our space through Escaminza. So this is why we have the stopping point there. If we go into Dittram, we can see this station is sitting at 4.4K in firepower. So you do that, you have these like sort of fortification star bases where you can pull your fleet back to, and your fleet combined with your starbase should have more than enough firepower to neutralize any space empire you're in proximate parity with. But we are kind of hung out there at Troydom. We don't have that kind of firepower. We don't have the backup of the starbase. So it is definitely questionable. We're going to see what happens. We're playing pacifists, if you recall. So we can never declare war or make claims on the enemy. But the enemy can certainly make war on us. And then we fight a defensive war, and we could then theoretically capture territory if that came up. So I'm sitting on a massive piggy bank of influence right now. If for some reason the Free Estwanians attack us, we will bring up the claim window, and we will burn through as many as this 1K banked influence and claim as many of their systems as we can. I would guess right off the bat we could probably claim a good 7 to 10 of their systems, potentially. I would take it. They want to donate space to me. Bear in mind, we have one other military fleet up here at Edelmar, and that is sitting pretty with 64k total fleet power. It's all right. And in fact, we should probably move these ships in if we can transfer them all. There you go. Let's do the same here at Troydom. No sense in having these extra fleets just usefully floating around. We want them all concentrated. Oh, we can't squeeze that in there? No. I'm not sure why. That might be a gift ship we earned, so it may not be compatible with the rest of the Belt Mangler fleet. Unfortunately, that sucks. But yeah, you want all of your fleet underneath your commander. Your commander, admiral, whatever you want to call it, is going to give these bonuses to the fleet. So in this case right here, we have engineer, daily hull regen of 0.5%, and daily armor regen of 1% for the ships within his fleet. So this Raspy Rapscallion cruiser doesn't fall within the Belt Mangler's Maroon and Joan fleet, unfortunately. We do have a few more ships down here, though. The Hooded Hoarders. Yeah, let's send them. Well, send them to Troydom. We gotta be a little careful. I have a planet at Troydom, so I'm being cautious to protect it. I wouldn't want them to invade this. It's quite valuable to us. But yes, we're gonna move that fleet up there. And what we can do is we can click on the Unaria system and physically watch the fleet. So we're running the clock at fastest right now. They are not moving. And now, to be fair, you can only see the enemy fleets within so many hyperlength jump distances, so many systems away from where your nearest fleet or space station is with sensor range. It's kind of a bummer because when you're running the clock and you're trying to manage your systems, you can't just sit here and watch Unaria to watch if this fleet moves the whole time. As the months go by, you have other stuff to do. But for right now, they don't seem to be a threat. Maybe I could goad them into coming out at us by pulling back our fleet, potentially. Pull them back to Ditcham or pull them back even to Escaminza to see if I can get them to try and invade Troydom and then rush in and fight them there. It's possible. It's a little risky, though, because we don't have that much firepower with this fleet. So right now, you can see we've just combined those smaller fleets. So we're sitting at 7.1k. But that's in rough parity to what they have. So we need to be cautious. I'm just going to let them sit there for now. We have a bit of alloy. We tell you what we do. We go to the Ditcham station. Let's throw in another couple of defensive platforms and upgrade the couple they have. So we could push that station up past 5k to 6k since we know the rough fleet power that the Free Estwanians can bring right now. I see back at their Orval, they have an additional 2k worth of fleet power. All right. Favorite game? Awesome. What do we need to do here? We are sitting on a moderate amount of minerals, but yeah, we really want to make sure that we are tuning up our worlds to be as efficient at what their job is as possible. Now, because we have a lot of development to do on our 10, 11 colonies, minerals are still very important. Now, in the very late game, you'll have developed your colonies as far as you can go. And there won't be a large need for minerals, although there are a few jobs that will convert minerals into other resources, so you can't ever fully get away from it. But yeah, at this point, we just want more and more minerals. Now, when I'm sitting there deciding of all of my 10 or 11 colonies, which ones need attention and new buildings right away, it's a pretty simple metric to judge. That's right here. Look at your available jobs. If you have no jobs available, that means you filled up every possible job on that colony. And you can see here in particular, we only have 4 civilians. I wish that was 4K civilians, but that's 4 civilians. But a world like Isius Prime is ready for another building or ready for another district because they have used up every job available. So in this case, I could look at this and just go, well, I wouldn't mind another mining district, but I can't get to that. That one's blocked. You can see the little hash, the red hashes in there. So this final district is blocked. If I go to management, I can come over and see which one of these is blocking that. Impassable Mountains, it's max district -2, deep sinkhole, max generator district -1 essentially, and deep sinkhole, max agriculture +2 if we clear it, and it's a -1. We also have quicksand basin, -1 +2 max agriculture, and there we go. That's the quicksand basin. It's a -1 district, and it would give us a plus max mining district +1. So in particular, this specific quicksand basin, not this one, but this one here, is preventing us from opening up that final mining district. I don't know if that's obvious to everybody, but I can't do that right now because I don't have the soil remediation technology. We haven't focused on any blocker clearing technology really up to this point. So is there anything else useful we could do here for these folks? Well, yeah, we could just build. We have plenty of districts available. We could build a regular city district, and this would net us some physicist jobs, some priest jobs, and some trade jobs. And it would resources produced from miners plus 20%. Oh, because of the mining support. Cool. All right. Yeah, there we go. So we'll throw a city district in there. Let's just jump around real quick here. Fula has jobs available. Elysia does not. So in this case, Elysia is an industrial world. And we're looking at the balance between consumer goods and alloys. Well, right now we're just at a +9 consumer goods. I'll tell you what, the simple way to fix that is just build another city district of the 6 we have left. That's going to get us 100 metallurgists and 100 artisans. I'll take it. Simple solution. Wegmore. They have plenty of jobs. So this is an instance where the Wegmore system has 278 jobs. It's going to take them probably a decade to grow that many people, or a few years at least. So they don't need anything right away. Now, one thing I notice is they have 2 sets of civilian industries. This second set of buildings is oftentimes for your forge worlds and your factory worlds a great place to put in your strategic resource production buildings. So the strategic resource buildings, use extra minerals for all your metallurgists and all your artisans. Well, in this case, at Wegmore, it's a factory world. We don't have any metallurgists. We just have artisans, which is fine. How many artisans do we have currently? We have 1.1k artisans. Every single one of those artisans is essentially going to take an additional 1.25 mineral. They're going to make the alloy or the consumer goods they would normally make. And in addition to that, every 100 will produce 0.25 space nuts, or rare crystals, as some people call them. So yeah, here's the thing though. That happens. This building works without needing any other pops to work the jobs. It's a modification on top of the civilian industries buildings we already have, on top of the artisans and the metallurgists we already have working. So in a sense, building this building here doesn't in any way provide additional jobs. It just modifies the 1.1k artisans we already have so that they're making more material. Now, there is one little catch to that. For each one of these buildings we make, it will suck up more and more minerals. So, for instance, if we do the rare crystal, the exotic gases, and the volatile moat buildings across these 3 slots, that will net a total of 3.75 additional minerals for the upkeep of each of those metallurgists or each of those artisans. So nearly 4 minerals for each of those jobs in addition to whatever it was already taking. However, each of those guys will then make a little bit of rare crystal, a little bit of exotic gases, and a little bit of volatile moats. No extra workers needed. So we can modify this planet even though we have a surplus of jobs. It won't affect anything. So let's jump in here. We can make the chemical plant right there. Boom. So now all of our artisans are going to make consumer goods as well as rare crystals as well as volatile moats. We do not have an exotic gases building yet, apparently. We'll look at that. We'll see if we can figure it out. All right, let's jump over to Castor Prime real quick. Yep, they need more jobs. They have 28 civilians. So let's get an additional city district going. Or should we do energy? We're getting a little tight down here on our energy. Let's actually build an additional generator district. We only have 2 left we can build for the time being. Let's jump to Chirel War. Same thing. They need more jobs. But just, I'll point out though, Castor Prime is kind of a hybridized world. It is in fact kind of our generator world, but also is now an ecclesiastical center. So it's kind of doing double duty there. when the time comes, we can always downgrade these districts by clicking up here where it says generator district. We can hit downgrade, and that will pop one generator district out at a time. We can selectively depromote them. So we could free up one of these generator districts to build another city district to get more priests, if and when that's the appropriate time to do that. The other thing to consider, though, is will we get additional resource production from technicians if we build another city district? It's a question. Is that cumulative? I say that because you get 50 trader jobs and 20 physicists, 20 biologists, 40 priests, minus 200 housing every time we build a new city district. It stacks over and over. The way I'm reading that is that the resource produced from technicians should go up by plus 20% each time we build a city district. The upkeep for technicians also climbs by 0.67 trade. So you got to be a little bit careful. It's not free. You're not getting more energy for nothing. You're getting more energy. They're more efficient at making energy because you're using trade somehow. I'm not sure in the story how that's supposed to work, but whatever. Okay. Something to consider. But for now, yeah, let's just get the generator district going, and then we can obviously pop in more city district. Let's jump back to Jero War Prime. Yeah, we want let's just click on this. This will get us 200 more priest jobs. We have plenty of overhead there. And let's go to Troydom. Similar situation. They have plenty of civilians right now. So let's click on that. We'll build another city district. We have a little bit of minerals left here. Here's Uproth. Uproth, same thing. Plenty of civilians. Let's click on that. And in particular, we probably want to switch over the second specialization to an additional spiritual enclave. Why would that be a useful idea? Because at this point, we are building our 6th city district. Each one of those city districts is yielding us 100 priest jobs. But if we make this specialization, each city district will yield 200 priest jobs. 200 times 6 would be 1,200 priest jobs instead of 600. It's a big get. Let's actually jump in here right now and scroll down and click on Spiritual Enclave. We'll bite the bullet. That's 900 minerals. And everyone else looks like they're currently working on a structure, except for Fula. Anything we can do here to help Fula? Can we build a building for him? Yeah, that would get us 200 extra technician jobs. And we're going to hold off right now. We have jobs available. We're getting awfully low on minerals. So we'll run that clock forward. We're watching this fleet. They are doing all a jack diddly right there. I don't know what the point of them here. Oh, something just came up. Estwanian maneuvers concluded. Judging by the sudden drop in coded Estwanian military transmissions coming from the Unari system, the naval exercise that was being held there by the Free Estwanian Confederacy has finally come to an end. About time. And let's just watch the fleet. Oh, yep, there they go. They're going home. So I would say that was a provocation. But we're pacifists. We can't be provoked. You can't trigger us. You can attack us, but we weren't going to do nothing. We're just going to be like, namaste. Peace be with you, my friends. Safe travels. So, I don't know what they thought was going to happen. Here we go. Yeah, we've improved those defensive platforms. So remember, we were at a 4.4K. Let's jump in. We jumped all the way up to a 5.4K from 2 defensive platforms, and we improved the 2 existing ones. So not bad. We have a new technology available. I missed it. Let's go to researched. Here we go. Quantum energy states. So produced from technicians everywhere is plus 20%. Energy from star-based constructions plus 10%. So that's going to be any Starbase's solar panels. Those are all getting more and more efficient bit by bit, so that's nice. And unlocks the plasma regulation array, planetary limit of 1. This essentially allows you to... this is one of the district modification buildings. So essentially, these are useful because your agricultural farms, your mining districts, and your energy districts have a cap in the number of districts you could build for them in any planet. Particularly on smaller planets that might only have 8, 10, 12 districts total for the size of the planet. And you're like, well, I want this to be a good mining world, but it only has 6 natural mining districts. No problem. You build up these better and better district modification buildings, and you can go from +2 districts to +4 to +6 to +8, I believe, is as high as I've seen it, I think. So that really lets you specialize the district types where you throw your districts into a given planet. But for now, do we have a generator district or world? I don't even think we do. At any rate, let's jump in here though and choose our next physics research. We don't want anything that's really directly researched, so no quantum probes, no thank you. Automatic resettlement chance, plus 25%. That right here, that's not bad. That just means it's more likely that people from high pop planets will move to low pop planets. That's good. It makes the planets fill more uniformly, more quickly. Not a bad thing at all. In particular, you get the transit hub, which automatic resettlement chance plus 200%. That's huge. So what you would do with that is, in particular, you would go to the star bases around your systems that have colonies in them, planets that you've inhabited, and you would put one of these into the building? Yeah, into one of the building slots, I think. Or maybe it's a module. I don't know. Starbase building. It says it right there. And that will make it much more efficient to draw people from other planets. Now, one thing I must admit that I don't know is, do you need the transit hub at both ends? So say we put a transit hub at the Fula system. We're doing that not because we want people to come to Fula, but because we have a lot of people at Fula. Or do we just go to a new world like, say, Helios here, and if they have a starbase, we put in the transit hub, and now people from any other system can move there 200% more efficiently? I don't know that. It doesn't, to be quite fair, it doesn't tell us that. But I'm assuming you need it where you want people to move to. I would guess. So that's not bad. We may look at that in the hyperdrive too. Yeah, that might be useful. Cold fusion reactor could be useful. Additional energy. There's the planetary nexus. That's the district building for energy that will give you +8 districts. Not really necessary. Colony development speed. Yeah, we don't need any of the rest of these. So I would say for now, let's jump into this hyperlane breach point. Let's grab that in 28 months. And then when we get access to that building, we will see about popping it around on some systems. So for instance, we could definitely put one at Fu. We could put one at Elysia because we have a planet and a starbase. Isius, same thing. We could make that work. Wegmore does not have an improved starbase, unfortunately. Castor does. It would work at Castor. And that's it for now. But yeah, that's roughly 4 of our planets would at least have smoother blending of their population. So I like that idea. Otherwise, let's run the clock. We have a lot of people working on stuff right now. Let's jump to Castor. Yeah, they have plenty of surplus jobs for the time being, many of them in the technician position. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if we were ever struggling with going into negatives on our energy, things were getting out of control, our costs were building really quickly on energy consumption, we could come in here and notice, you know, we have over 200 available technician jobs, but they're not full. People are working as enforcers or medical workers or whatever else. You could drop down to your economy tab and specifically you could click here on workers. I'm not going to do it, but it puts a little gold ribbon, like a little gold star ribbon, and it pulls people from other professions to try and fill in there very quickly. It's a way to get them to hustle into that. And oftentimes, I find it advisable with a moderately to highly established colony to focus it into its specialization. So, and actually, in this case, we could do this right now. Castor Prime has 3,000 people, so it's definitely in the middle stage of development. It's not early, it's not late. We could just click on this. Is it a generator? No, it's an ecclesiastical center. So I wouldn't do that. I would do this. I would click on priests. I want the priest positions to always be filled to the max because That is what Castor Prime is about. It certainly has a little bit of energy capability, but we don't care about that. Now let's move this out of the way here. We'll get to that. Right here, let's just read this, and then we'll move on with my point. The situation on Monsoon 4 seems to have settled down a bit since the successful extraction of our rogue scientist. Without her to interrupt the data, the technical schematics she brought with her are of no use to the people of Monsoon 4. The unenlightened are gradually reverting to their old ways. Some good news at last. This society, the Etherians, regress to the Renaissance age from the Industrial Age. Awesome. Okay, hold on. I'm pausing, though. Let's do this really quickly. Let's jump to Isius. Isius is specifically a highly specialized mining world in the mid-population. So what I would want to do there is, I see the little down. No, I want to gold star that, and I want to make sure that I have as many miner jobs as possible. All right? So there you go. That's a good way to make sure that this planet is focusing on what it's best at. Look, we have mining support. We have a bunch of people working that job, and we have selected the mining specialization option for the colony. All those things are cumulative, and it means there's no better job for anyone to have on Isius than to be a miner. So that's why I want to gold ribbon it. Let's go through all of ours really quickly. Let's jump over to Elysia Prime. It's an industrial world. So in that case, either alloys or artisans, either one, doesn't really matter. And they're, again, middle grade here. So let's click this to consumer goods. Yeah, that looks good. All right. Let's do a few more here. Let's jump through. Castor Prime is already spiritual. Wegmore is a factory world, so we're going to click on that. And we are going to restore all factory jobs. Yes, please. Let's keep cycling through here. I'll point out, though, we do have gas plant engineers. This is a little bit specialized thing right here. In this case, if we aren't running short on consumer goods and we want to get more exotic gases, we would click onto this. And it would shuttle over probably another, looks like 200 exotic gas workers, which would really pump up the amount of exotic gases we're generating. Because it looks like right now they're making 3.43. I'm guessing this would jump up to nearly 10. So if we ever needed that, but for right now, we're gaining at a steady +8. We have over 3,000 exotic gas banked, so I think we're good. We can sit right there. Let's move on to our next colony. Here we go. Jarrell War is an ecclesiastical world. Yeah, let's click there. We're going to make them sure they're specialized on priests. Troydon Prime is ecclesiastical as well. It's, early, but not too early in the phase there. So we're going to click on ecclesiastical. Let's keep going. Uproth Prime, ecclesiastical as well. Much, much smaller. We will still specialize. Let's keep going. Koronagi, Forge World. So this is at a size where you have to be a little bit careful. In particular, when you're trying to get a new colony off the ground, you may have medical workers trying to grow pops more quickly, or robotic factories trying to make robots more quickly. Both of those positions, both those buildings take jobs. Now, when you're on a colony that's less than 1,000 population, if you were to say specialize on metallurgists exclusively, it could draw the workers away from the medical jobs and away from the roboticist jobs, thus slowing the early growth on your colony. So in particular, you make a brand new colony, you give it a colony specialization, you maybe do a district specialization, you start throwing some buildings in. Next thing you know, you have 800 metallurgist jobs on this forge world, and you specialize on that forge, and now there's no colonists, there's no one working on medical, there's no one working on roboticists, and you can stunt the growth of your colony, especially if you keep making more and more metallurgist forge jobs. Like, every year you go in, you add another forge building or another city district for more metallurgist workers, you'll keep drawing those medical workers and those roboticists away from their jobs, permanently stunting the growth of your colony. It's a big oof, and it can last for decades if you keep it can keep your colony from growing quickly for a really long time if you don't let the medical workers and the roboticists do their jobs early on. So word of warning there. The reason this works is because the alloy jobs are already full to the top. The medicine worker jobs are already full to the top. You can imagine, though, all I have to do is jump up here and build another foundry right here, or build another district. That'll make another 200 jobs or so. And when I have it specialized, it'll immediately, when this jumps to 600, it'll suck these 200 medicine workers over, dump them into alloys. So be careful. In fact, probably not a good idea to do that here yet, because I am just one building away from stripping all these medical workers away. And in fact, you know what? Let's demonstrate it. We're going to do that at Koronagi. We're going to specialize in alloy. Let's get what? Let's get one more heavy industry going. That will be 200 jobs. When that finishes in 233 days, we'll try and notice, and we'll jump in, and what we will see is that all of our medical workers will have switched over. So it's an obscure thing, but it'll really affect you early on. Let's jump over. We just have 2 more little colonies. So here we go. A free, baby colony. You can see we're struggling to fill our medicine jobs. We do not want to specialize on spiritualists yet. And finally, Helios, very tiny. Yeah, we actually don't want any other jobs here until the medical workers are filled. In a sense, we really want our full 200 medical workers to help boost the natural growth rate. If we jump to management, we can see here right now that we have no growth, no robot assembly. We're spiritualists. We don't make robots, and we're only gaining 1 through migration. It's a slow go here, folks. That heavy industry job is probably going to hit that really quickly. And in fact, can I upgrade that building? Yeah, I could upgrade the medical building. We have more than enough exotic gases to cover the 0.9 upkeep fee. So we will put that in there. And actually, let's switch it. Let's push the gene clinics up first, just so that it will complete and we can get more medical workers in before that heavy industry pops up. But it's going to turn into a real shit show here for this newest of our colonies. All right, let's run the clock. So, all right. Remember, though, we're going to look back at Koronagi here in a little bit. Here we go. New trade engineer for Buffkin. Very cool. Engineer is getting him daily haul regen for the fleet. Awesome. I'll take it. Sorry, I got a sneeze going. And here we are. We're in the adaptability tradition. 2 options. Resettlement cost minus 50%. That's cool. We don't really resettle our pops. I don't think we have the ability. No, we can resettle pops. So I've been playing a lot of side games lately. That's not bad, but resettlement isn't something we do enough to where I really worry about how much it costs, just general. So I would really rather take the enhanced recycling. This is a completely unique capability in the vanilla version of the game. There's really no building, there's no leadership trait, there's no technology that can do what enhanced recycling can do. And it's one of the main reasons we went into the adaptability tradition at this stage, is to get at this. This is like a mid to late game choice here. Reusing what has become obsolete gives us more to build with in the future. The effect, building and district, strategic resource cost and upkeep reduced by negative 15%, about 1/6. So as we start to get into more advanced alloy foundries, more advanced medical centers, obviously not research, more advanced priest temples, they will all take some sort of upkeep of a strategic resource, exotic gas, volatile or space crystal. And this, it can add up a lot. You have 40 buildings at some point that are all taking exotic gases. That's 35 or so exotic gases or rare crystals of all remotes. Your fleets can start having upkeep for that stuff. Not that this would affect fleets, so I take that back. This is just for buildings and districts. Okay. Yeah, we want it. We're still kind of lightweight on our total strategic resource uptake right now, or cost, but we're moving right into it through the mid game here, where that could really help us out, and it could adjust these numbers in our favor. So right now we're at a surplus of 9, 2, and 5. Let's let the clock run and see if that will adjust. There we go. We ran to the month. Let's look again. 946. So we gained 2 and 1 back. 2 on the exotic gases, 1 on the rare crystals. Yeah, that's not a bad thing. It may be that we have no buildings that take volatile modes yet. That may be what's going on there. But yeah, really valuable technology to grab once you can grab it. How are we doing here at Koronagi? We're just watching this here. I want them to finish this alloy foundry. Closing in, folks. What do we got going on here? New Federation president? Ooh, the Principality of Fu has been chosen as the new president of the Space Friends Club. Awesome. Now, we're going to jump in here in just a moment. Let's finish the alloy foundry thing here, though, real quick. Here we go. We're going to jump over to economy. Boom. We finished the foundry. Look what happened. It literally sucked 200 workers from medical workers into foundry. That is a demonstration of why it is not appropriate with Koronagi at its small population size to have a gold star ribbon yet. So we're going to turn that off. And you can see here it kind of rebalanced already. It'll naturally balance out more. But yeah, we don't want to mess with that. We want Koronagi to grow quickly. We want those medical workers doing their jobs. I think I've driven the point home. Okay. Resolution has failed. Guardian Angels Act. Let's jump in here. I don't know what the Guardian Angels Act was. I'm not going to look it up here. A couple of things going on, though. Cooperative research channels. Diplomatic weight from tech plus 20%. No, we do not want that. Obviously, we are Luddites. We are very poor tech, so we are currently opposing it. And I don't really know where everyone else stands. Fortunately, we are by far the most powerful when it comes to the diplomatic weight, so it's not a bad thing. And then what's going on here? Repeal the Ready Shield Act. What would that do? Can you guys show me what Ready Shield is? Gosh darn it. Details. Oh, it's not telling me. It doesn't tell me what the Ready Shield does. Mother humpalump. I'm really surprised when I mouse over. I would think it would tell me. Click to show resolution details. For aliens, Yubibak are surprisingly agreeable. What can the Kendojin Democratic Sons do for you? Okay, they must be putting this forward, interestingly. I never noticed that before. And then here's the Talakuran are putting forward the word of the agreeable Fulu culture is spreading amongst the Talakuran people. We are all happy to have made your acquaintance. All right, very cool. You can see a little bit of info here. They're friendly. They're inferior to us on fleet power, economic power, equivalent on technology. And there's our diplomatic weight breakdown. When we click on repeal the Ready Shield, you see they're friendly. They are equivalent. Although the fleet and economy are inferior, their technology is equivalent. So, very good. I want to see this, though. Let's look at the Ready Shield. Where the heck it would be? Is it red? Yes, Ready Shield. Diplomatic weight from fleet power plus 20. Oh, I don't want them to repeal that. And naval cap plus 10%. I like that. We are going to support that. Yeah, no, not support it. I'm sorry. Oppose it. Gosh dang. Yeah, we're thumbs down. We're opposing it. We don't want them to repeal it. We want to keep the Guardian Angel Act. Yes? Or the Ready Shield Act. Okay. So I think our votes are in. We'll see what happens with that. But let's jump into the Federation. Okay, so we started the Federation. We're the president. Then after the president term switched, it went over to the Talakurans. Now it is back to us right now. Now, let's take a look at our laws. Succession term is at 20 years. Here's the trick. We suspect that the end game crisis will happen at 2300 for us. That is 16 years away. Actually, we're at 1230, so it's actually 15 years away at this point. That would mean that we will hold the presidency of our Federation and have access and command of our Federation fleets until the year 2305. What's going to happen, though, is one of two things. Either the endgame crisis won't kick off in the first 5 years. It doesn't necessarily come right away, right? Or it will come and we'll just be a year or two into the crisis, just trying to get our fleets into position to go fight some enemy ships, when we will lose the presidency and the Talacuran will hoover up all those sweet, sweet crisis ship kill victory points. What? What am I talking about? Check this out. Let's jump over here to the situation log. Let's go to victory. If we look at ourselves, Principality of Fulu here, we can see that we're rank 2. Here's our total score. And way down here, crisis ships killed 0. We want to score those points by using the Federation fleets to kill those crisis ships. I believe, I don't know, but I believe for that to work, we need to be in command of the Federation. We need to be the president at that moment. If we look down here at the Talacuran, yeah, they can also score off of ship kills against the crisis. So let's jump back into the Federation. I propose we adjust the succession term as high as they'll let us go. Now look at the Talacuran are at a positive 11 in support of that at 30 years, and they're even at a positive 6 to support it to 40 years. 40 years would take us to 23, 25. That is 25-ish years we should be able to fight and kill crisis ships. We should be able to take care of the crisis altogether by then. So I'm going to propose that. We have favors. We don't even need favors, I don't think. We're both in support. Let's just say yes, and we will see what happens. Vote for the Federation law will happen here in 6 months. Very cool. And what do we got going on? Favor gained with the Eritha. Oh, we already voted on this? Vote for Federation law and vote to change to 40-year succession term succeeded. Okay, that is really good, folks. Since we're the president now, we will hold on to that until... I don't know. I don't know if it tells us. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how to know what year our term starts on. Right? Like, I'd imagine with the president, they would say president from this date to this date, something like that. It doesn't. But we know we should be good to 23, 25. We fixed it. This should let us win the game that way. So, but that was it's a critical thing when you're dealing with Federation is who's in charge when. Here we go. Nano circuit assembly. So we got 2 buildings out of this. A civilian fabricator. This is just the improved artisan factory, civilian factory, I believe. It does have the upkeep of space nuts or rare crystals, as some people call them. But it yields 400 artisan jobs per building. It's pretty good. And we also have the recirculation center. Limit 1 per planet. This has an upkeep of 1.5. And by the way, you can see the reductions in the upkeep on this come from administrative operations, minus 10% energy, minus 10%. And then below that is enhanced recycling, the minus 15%. So we have a total of minus 25% on our rare crystals for buildings that utilize rare crystals and other strategic resources. So that's really good. I'm glad we got that. With pre-programmed nanocircuits, many customer products can be rapidly assembled in fabricators. New research. All right, folks, we have options. Afterburners, possibly mega forges and alloy reclamation centers. Yeah, this is kind of the other side of the coin for the factory buildings we just got. It's pretty low on the technology tree, so we could have that pretty quickly. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind the crystal fused plating. I wouldn't mind the afterburners, fusion missiles, but this will really help us with our alloys. So we will move forward on that as well. And at this point, should we go to our factory world? Yes, Wegmore. Jump in here. Look at this. All of these can be upgraded. These are currently 200 job buildings, 200. All of these can be moved up to 4, yielding an additional 600 artisan jobs here. Now, do we want to do that? Maybe not yet. Bear in mind, every time we click one of these things, it is going to cost us an extra 1.5 space crystals. Well, we only have 6 surplus. Here's the thing, though. We don't really need 600 extra artisan jobs for these buildings. We have 18 available districts. This is a massive planet. Wegmore's huge. So, yeah, we could just build another district right there. That'll get us 200 extra artisan jobs without any rare crystals. No space nut cost. No, it does take energy upkeep, but I think it's, the energy upkeep's roughly the same as the building would be, I believe. Yeah, it's the same. So it's much cheaper. It's a more efficient way to get jobs. Every time we click build a district, it gets 200 more artisan jobs. Each one of these we upgrade gets us 200 more artisan jobs, but without the cost of the crystal. So that's why that makes sense. What about here at Elysia? Same thing. All these would be very expensive to push forward right now. And in general, we actually have more than enough jobs on most of our other worlds. Let's see. Yeah. Isius, 375 jobs. Elysia, 145. Wegmore, tons and tons. I didn't even need to do the city district. Castor, just clicking through everyone. Here we go. Troydom does need more help, though. Troydom needs more jobs. Sure. Let's get another temple built. Sure. Uproth, tons of jobs. Hornagi, Iafrifi, Helios. Everyone's in great shape. Fula, though, this is where you start to need these buildings. We've already developed every single available district given the size of our homeworld of Fula. We've filled up most all of our building slots, at least in the city districts here. So yeah, if we want more jobs for these civilians to move into, we can push forward some of these. Now, another thing, a strategy would be that Fula, our homeworld, also our most populous world, we could restrict the number of available jobs, thus decreasing its appeal for resettlement. And this might extol more people to, we'll go to the management tab, migrate away from Fula. Fula is currently growing 5 people a month, but they are migrating. 3 of those are migrating away to other worlds. Why are they migrating away at -3? Probably because we don't have a lot of jobs available. So specifically, I could get 600 extra artisan jobs, 200, 200, 200, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave this with no available jobs to get those civilians to go migrate to other worlds for the time being. Okay? So this is all mid-game stuff you got to keep in mind is, how quick are your worlds growing? Where do you have people moving to, shuttling them around? But yeah, otherwise, let's keep running the clock. I know this is kind of a boring part of the game. Ooh, we had a leader die. Archprophetess Drowned Morgan. She's our leader. Served for 85 years, folks. Wow, let's jump into our government. And the new Archprophetess was the heir apparent, if you recall. And this is Ivory Morgan. Ivory Morgan is only 49 years old. That's good. They have a long time that they can live in this role. So not a bad thing at all. And in general, what are their special capabilities? Well, they are Frontier Spirit. That really just helps with early colony development. Mining Rush. Minerals from jobs are plus 2.5%. Sweet. And Shipwright. Ship build speed plus 10%. Cool. These all look good to me. Oh my gosh. Hold on. That's not good. Our head of research is affecting our research speed at a -5%. They're 115 years old. They're level 6. That's really good, but let's get them out of there. Let's see who else we have that could step into this role right now. Red Tia could give us, well, that's a governor boost. That's a scientist boost. That's a leader lifespan. Governor. None of these folks are particularly good at being the head of research. Let's look at our recruitable leader pools. We have 5 total. Will any of these people, although they're much lower level scientists, be a suitable replacement for our current head of research? Right here, I like this. Research speed plus 3%, not bad. We have a couple of expertise here for some different industries. Yeah, out of all the folks here we're seeing right now, I think Zyber Exarbayer Kabanaka is our best choice. I know they're new. I know they're young. Let's hire them in there. Now, bear in mind, the other leader had 6 levels, and they were probably generating per level nothing. They weren't developed. They weren't giving us anything. Those are governor effects, not head of research effects. And if I look at the per scientist level, survey speed, archaeological skill, and astral rift skill, none of those things affected the research speed output as far as I can tell. So, well, no, right there. Okay, head of research effect per skill level is plus 2%. So they were giving us a plus 12 with a minus 5, so they were at a 7. So this leader is a level 2, plus the 2 times the 2% is 4%, plus they are the research speed of plus 3, so that is giving us a total of plus 7%. So this level 2 leader is equally as good as that level 6 leader with that negative trait. So perfect. This person's new, they have a long life ahead of them, long career, and they will level up quickly. So we like that. That was a good choice. New heir, High Priestess Plunder and Morgan. Let's take a quick look. Where's Plunder and Morgan? Go to our leaders, officials. Plunder and Morgan, right there. This is the Imperial Heir Apparent. Yeah, they look kind of shit, to be honest. Maybe we could put them in charge of a planet. Sure. Let's go to Fula, and let's put the heir in charge of Fula. It's a good choice because Fula does a little bit of, minerals, a little bit of everything, right? A little research, temples, factories. So the heir apparent being a official gives you nice percentage bonuses to all of your basic resources, your advanced resources, your strategic resources. Not bad at all. There you go. So they'll grow there, gain experience, and they'll help Fula be more efficient anyway. I have not been too good about assigning leaders. I'm going to pause real quick. As you grow your colonies, you can assign governorships, leaders to be governors of each of them. You can easily see if you have a governor there by the symbol. That's a level 1 governor, a level 4 governor, level 4, level 3, level 3. Now, theoretically, any leader you have that is currently unemployed or has an additional job position available, you should make as a governor, because they're going to give, anywhere from, 5 to 10% bonuses to colonies. And some of them with governor traits specifically may give even bigger bonuses. So we know that military commanders in particular are only good at boosting the worker pop output. They actually hurt elite and specialist pop output. So Ridug here would only be good on a mining world, a generator world, or a food world. So do we have any of those available? Ecclesiastical Forge. Yeah. The only place he would be good is on Isius Prime, but we've already got a scientist there. Let's swap them out. Let's swap them out with Rudig right here. Army upkeep plus 40. That's fine. We don't care about that. So we're going to slot them in there. Let's go to Wegmore is a factory world. Let's actually, we already have a sector governor right here, Plunder and Morgan. So I did not mean to do that. Let's go to Uproth and Troydom. Troydom is an ecclesiastical center. Yeah. Do we have an official or a scientist that could be helpful here? Well, the scientists are only going to boost research. They are not going to be able to help out with generating unity here. Minerals here aren't going to matter. So these two aren't going to be able to help us out really with anything. The only place they could be useful would be on a science world, because they have no other governor specializations, unfortunately. Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay, so there's nothing else we can do for our leaders for the time being. Just look back at Isius Prime here. Hope I didn't mess that up too much. We cost ourselves miners? Yeah. Hold on, let's switch back. That was my bad. Not only does this boost the mineral production, but it also gives you 400 extra mining jobs. So, in fact, Red Tia is the better leader here because... Let's see. 114k. Oh, it didn't adjust yet. But yeah, Red Tia is definitely the better leader on that planet, even though she's a scientist. Okay, what else do we have going on? Favor gain from the Eartha. And agenda is available infinite opportunities. This will just boost our citizen happiness from 4% to 10%. I'll take it. And is there a new agenda set? Sure, we come in peace. Yeah, there you go. Let's run it. Run that clock. We're closing in on 1 hour here. Maybe we can just run the clock and try and get to 2990. I know we want to get the game done here, folks, and I made a commitment to finish this and not just wiener out and not end the game, but we'll go for a win. Hopefully, we will actually be able to trigger an end game crisis in this. I don't know. It's tricky when you're playing a game this short. You won't always get an end game crisis. It's not awesome. I think there's certain things in there where the end game crisis are going to be triggered if they feel like you have enough resources to survive it. I don't know. I think there's some sort of like things that are measuring in the background that will trigger the end game crisis to pop off. And when you play a really short game, I don't think you get to the levels necessary for that to happen. I've played a 2350 end date game where the Fallen Empire just won, and the final endgame crisis never happened. It's just because the Fallen Empire just has so many more points than you by default. It's just like they won, the game's over, and I was like, oh, shit. Here we go. New tradition pick. Oh, that's so worthless. Survival of the fittest. Orbital bombardment damage minus 25%. Defense army damage plus 25. I'm not worried about that. We'll choose the resettlement cost for now. Run the clock. We're 43 months out from capping off adaptability, which will get us another Ascension perk, which would be very nice. It also increases the colony designation bonuses for regular planets. Very cool. Now, right now we're using all of our Unity to get tradition picks. Eventually, though, we're going to make our way through the entire tradition tree. At that point, we can spend Unity on ascending our planets. So if we go to Fula here, we go to Management, we can choose Colony Ascension. So we could do it right now. For a cost of 2,835 Unity, we could upgrade Fula to a Tier 1 Ascension. What that would get us, ascending a planet reduces its effect on empire size by minus 6%. That'd be useful, right? Because I believe that's based off of the population on the planet, not just the planet, I think, right? Because remember, when you go up here to your empire size, you have from colonies and from pops. To be fair, I'm not 100% sure. I assume it means the pops on there as well. I could be wrong. It increases the effect of this planetary designation by 31%. So the base is -5 for empire size, 25 planetary designation, Harmony Traditions finished plus 25%. Well, that's not bad. Because we capped off the Harmony Tradition, if you recall. Let's look at that real quickly. Colony Ascension effects plus 25% on top of the 100%, the normal 100%. So, but yeah, so the planetary designation will go up by 31%. We can see the planetary designation right here. It says it's auto-designated. It's set to Empire Capital at Ascension level 1. That's what that little level 1 there means, I think. No. Is that this guy? Hold on. We're going to try it right now. Yeah, okay, yeah, I was wrong about that. Let's switch back, though, to Thunder and Morgan there. Empire Capital is the designation. Capitals are a little different because they are Empire Capital, Forge Capital, Factory Capital, Trade Capital, Capital Extraction World. They're not the same designations, but an Ascension would modify this. So right now we are just in Empire Capital, plus 5 stability, plus 1,000 amenities, plus 1,000 housing, government ethics extraction, plus 100, automatic resettlement destination chance, plus 10, and resources from jobs, all jobs plus 10%. Let's try this out. Let's just do it. We have the Unity. Let's just upgrade it. Yes. Tier 1. Designation boost 30%. Empire size minus 6%. So we're at 315. Let's run the clock. There we go. That dropped 5. Dang, I should have paid attention. I'm pretty sure that comes off of pops there. 5 is a big chunk. Okay. And then let's go to surface. Let's mouse over our designation. Can we just choose this? Empire capital. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we are. It improves stability, it improved amenities and housing, government ethics extraction, automatic resettlement chance, and resources for jobs is now at 13.12 instead of just 10%. So that's really good. Remember, Fula kind of boosts everything for us. Could we upgrade it again? We could ascend it again for 4,464. Let's do it. Boom. Yes. And that's now to 62 designated boost. Let's take a look. Yeah. That's very cool, folks. That's a lot of resource production stuff. Now, we do want to stop. We don't want to keep doing that because what's more important at this early stage of the game in general is making our way through the tradition tree. So, Unity's one, you only got one Unity piggy bank. So you're either putting it in the tradition tree or you're putting it into Ascensions. Ascension should probably wait till later in the game. Things like minimizing the effect of the planet on empire size is much more impactful when you have massive planets with large populations. Here we go. Let's choose our last technology here for today. Automatic resettlement chance, 25%. We got the transit hub. We got the hyperdrive. Let's choose a new research really quickly. And shield capacitor, maybe. Wormhole travel. Fascinating. We could try it. We could try and go through the wormhole. Advanced shields and this other stuff. You know what? Let's grab it. It's purple. Let's grab it. Screw it. 47 months, so it's about 4 years out. We will have wormhole travel. If I'm not mistaken, we have a wormhole right there. We can try and send our science ship. The Atalante's been sitting there so long, her researcher's dead. But we'll get a new researcher in there. We'll send her through the wormhole, see where it goes. It'll be interesting. That's it for now, though. So next time we play, we're going to keep running the clock forward, and we're going to look at which worlds could benefit from a transit hub building on their star bases. And yeah, we'll try and get pops to flow. All right, if you watched, folks, thank you so much. Take care. Until next time.